phenomena. The strange, the curious, the extraordinary, the bizarre. Throw in the occasional conspiracy theory, and you get us. Cecil, Hadley, Stephen, Tully, and myself, Morgana. Just a few of the Wyrd kids. Weird Awakenings is a part of the Weird Realities Network. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to our channels. We can be found at linktree/Weird Realities. That's weird with a Y. Okay, gang, grab those tinfoil hats and let's get weird. Hello, hello. All right.
Happy pre-Halloween.
That's right. It's always a good weekend. And oh yes, I have company, or I don't, my son does. So my alarm just went off. Hope everybody's doing okay and had a decent week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, good deal.
Also got this. So.
Yeah, see, I like that.
We're talking Halloween movies. I brought my black cat.
You know, I have a black cat, and she stays hidden because I have a little beagle basset hound mix that likes to chase her.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
My friend's a beagle basset, and he chases Michonne all the time.
Oh, look, she does. And I keep telling her, you know, all you need to do is whip her butt one good time, and she will quit chasing you. Yeah. But I look outside, and she's on top of my husband's shop, just looking down at the dog like, what are you going to do?
It's funny. He cuddles with Archer and plays with Archer, but he barks at Michonne. I have not figured out why.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They're crazy. They are crazy.
Well,
and,
did they?
Go ahead.
I wonder, do the pet shelters and stuff, they stop allowing black cats to be adopted around Halloween like they used to? They still do that?
Yes.
Yeah, they did that in Virginia and Florida. The same reason.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
You can't adopt a black cat on Halloween no more?
No, because people get them just for the holiday and then get rid of them. Yeah. Or do stupid stuff.
I was about to say, some people like do evil things to them.
Yes.
Right.
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
Mike.
Hey, Carrie.
Carrie.
Yes.
That's scary.
Yeah.
It's in the background.
I like it. Yay. Awesome. Okay, now I want Mandy to top that. Tell her, wake up. Come on.
Cecil, who's that?
Oh, this is Phoenix.
Hi, Phoenix.
Phoenix. She's 40 pounds.
Oh my.
The big one's in here too, but he's too big to pick up. So
yeah, you know what? They don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, I know mine never do.
Right.
Well, he should weigh about 70 pounds, but he's a little fat now. I say he weighs closer to 95.
Every morning when I wake up, the minute Fred sees my eyes open, he runs and jumps on my chest with those big basset feet, 45 pounds. It's like having CPR done to me.
Yes, yes. You know, and that's the thing. Like I said, we just adopted her about 3 months ago, and we were told, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'd have still adopted her, but it's like, oh yeah, she's full-blooded beagle. And I'm like, oh great. You know, we've got 2 beagles at the house now. She'll fit in. And I got her and I'm like, I don't think she's full-blooded beagle. And my husband goes, oh, I know she's not full-blooded beagle. And we went back and forth with, was she part Dachshund or was she part Basset? But she's got that blue speckled underbelly, and those paws are twice the size of the beagle paws. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, Basset. Gotta be.
Yeah.
Hey,
Fred's got the ears, the nose, the paws of a Basset, but everything else is beagle. He doesn't have the folds of flab on him.
Really?
Yep.
Hi, Landa.
Hey, Landa. Yeah, and she's the same way. She doesn't have the ears that go all the way down, but I mean, they're much bigger than beagle ears.
Yeah.
And, but like I said, you know, she came in here, and it was really funny because with the way she is with the cat, at first the cat was the only one that would have anything to do with her. and they would cuddle and sleep together and everything. And then the other dogs started having something to do with her. And when she plays, she barks. And so when she started barking, my dogs generally only bark when people come up. The dog started barking and she took off. And when she took off, there she went after her. And she is a true hunter in the sense that she will get a scent. She got loose a couple of times in the woods behind my house, and I spent hours trying to find her because she would hit that scent and go.
Yeah.
Spaz is camera shy, but I tried to get him here too.
Fred barks a lot, but his number one thing is he likes whining to get his way.
Yes. I tell you, they if mine ever figure out their dogs, it'll kill them. Yes. They really think they're four-legged furry people.
Yeah.
We're the weird ones because we only got 2 legs and no fur.
Right. But we did decide we now have 4 adopted dogs and 1 adopted cat. We've got to stop.
Yeah.
Because vet bills are killing me, Scott.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because now, like I said, used to we'd take 1 in the spring and 1 in the fall, and it was like, okay, that's all right. And now it's like everybody's comes within 2 months of each other.
Yeah.
And
I have not gotten my cats to the vet in years because I can't get them into the containers. They fight like they're virgins about to be thrown into a volcano.
Well, it's funny. My 2 older beagles, they're younger than the new one, but they're older than the Chiweenie. They are twins. They were adopted because their mother came up and she ended up being pregnant. So we ended up keeping 2 of the puppies. And so we take them, and he's a big wuss. I mean, he's scared of everything. So we go to the vet, and I thought about it after we'd been there. They had already done their exams and everything. I'm like, oh, good. I've got to get their nails done because you fight with him to get them done. So they came in, they took her first, and she goes back. A few minutes later, here they come back. She almost chokes herself getting back to us. Then they take him. And you see her, she's scratching at the door. She's whining and upset. And then about that time, I hear him in there, oh. And I'm like, you jackass. And she totally panicked until they brought him back in that room because she thought they were hurting him.
Oh, boy.
Good God. So, but yeah, they're.
My old dog, Walter, loved going to the groomer.
Yeah.
We'd walk in and he would just I'd drop the leash. He'd go into the back, push the door open, and go right down into the shower. He loved the shower.
No, not mine.
Yeah, that's the way the new dog is. It's
Yep. Well, officially, congratulations, Stephen.
Yes.
On our new little addition.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, we did welcome him last weekend, but you weren't here, so.
Freddie's chewing on a big chew toy. He doesn't know he's as happy as a pig in a mud puddle.
Yep, good deal. All right, guys, tonight we're going to be talking. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This one's handicapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at her little bent backwards paw. This is how she walks on it right here.
Oh, poor baby. Poor thing.
She's a big one mixed with a feist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Spaz is a shepherd mixed with a mountain cur.
Mm-hmm.
So they're both hunting dogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the good squirrel dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The twins will chase a squirrel, but once they go off the ground, they're like, what happened to it? And I told my husband, I'm like, every time you get a hunting dog, my dad rolls over in his grave because you ruin them.
Well, when I had Walter and Bella, I lived in the country, there was a goat farm 3 doors down, and they'd break away. They'd go walking through the woods, and I'd go down to the goat farm, and sure enough, they'd go down to the goat farm. But the owner didn't mind because other dogs would chase them. They went up to the fence, and the goats came over, and they'd lick each other.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
tell you what, have you ever been around pygmy goats? The male pygmy goat. Oh, they're mean.
No.
I want one of the fainting goats.
That would be funny.
Yes. I don't want to keep it, just for a day or something. But, and my husband had actually talked about getting some goats because we have a lot of underbrush in the woods behind us.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but then when the underbrush is gone, what do? Now you've got these goats that you got to find something to occupy them.
They're not near difficult to get rid of as what they used to be.
Yeah. And I've had mutton. It's not something I'm crazy about.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nothing about mutton.
See, then you rent them out for a lawn mowing service as environmentally friendly.
That's maybe. I know you can rent bees if you're a farmer. You can rent bees to do your yes, you can. Because Mo drives a truck. And he's actually seen some of the bee movers taking them, across country to release into these farms so that they can do the pollination and everything.
Do you rent them or do you buy them? Because they don't live very long, right?
And I think that they rent them because he said, he's seen trucks going and coming like from the same spot. So I would assume they have to have the hives in the trucks, in the trailers. And so maybe, they just like make a big circuit of them.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, the bees that you rent are probably going to multiply.
Yeah.
You would think so. I mean, if there was if there's some way they can leave another queen behind, then you could start another colony.
Yeah.
So that would be. I know we had a garden, not this past summer, but the summer before. It was covered up with bees. I mean, we had a hive in one of our buildings from the house. But I'm not sure that the fire ants didn't destroy it.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Joys of living in the country.
Yeah. I used to think I wanted to live in the city, and then I did it for a little bit, and I'm like, no, this is not me. So, it's got its place, but it's not for me.
See, I like to live in a place where the traffic jam is you get stuck behind the tractor going from one field to the other.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. If you can see your neighbor's house, you're living too close to somebody.
Yes.
I totally agree. And see, I'm in that spot right now. That's why I keep hoping for a lottery win. So I can get about 50 acres of nothing but trees and have one road going dead middle.
Yeah.
That's my dream home.
Yes.
If you do live close to neighbors, the best way to get rid of them is to do what I do and just like ramble around in the middle of the night in your underwear, finding AR-15 and screaming like
vacuum the driveway.
Yeah.
I usually scream, "Get the fuck out of my yard!" and just start shooting.
My husband and I, it's really funny, and I mean it's okay. You know how sometimes you have groups that'll come around to try to convert you to their way of thinking, So 30 some odd years ago, we were living in our hometown and he was out in the yard washing his truck. He was home for the weekend. The kids were playing and these people walk out and they're like, we'd like to talk to you, about this and that. And he goes, "No, I'm not interested." And they're like, "Well, what do you believe?" He goes, "Well, I'm a Satanist and I'm looking for a sacrifice." They got in their car and they left. And for like 20 years, we did not see one at our house. They would cross the road when we still lived at home. Then about 10 years ago, somebody shows up here and the lady gets out of the car and everything. And she's like, "Well, then what do you believe?" I'm like, "I'm a pagan." And she goes, "Really? What does that mean?" And I start explaining to her, and then the woman in the car, I think, caught what we were talking about and started blowing the horn until she came and got back in the car and they left. So it's been about 10 years since I've seen somebody at my house.
I had a friend of mine who was goth, and she got a knock on the door, and she opened, and she was wearing the full goth outfit. It was, "We'd like to talk to you about Jesus Christ." And she goes, "No, the master would not be pleased." And she only closed the door. But when she went to work later that afternoon, there were piles of religious documents on it.
My question about it is, was Mo wearing Daisy Dukes and a cutoff T-shirt when he was washing the truck?
You know, okay, I'm going to tell you this, Cecil. This was in the 80s, and he was in a pair of denim cutoffs, and it wasn't a cutoff shirt, but it was sleeveless cutoff. You know, the sleeves were cut out. So, yes.
He was wearing
the cable guy sleeveless.
So, yeah.
I knew it.
Wearing jorts and a sleeveless shirt. Cool.
Yes, yes. You know, like I said, and he had a mullet at the time. It was the times. Okay. Hey, I can send you the picture if you really need help visualizing. So
you can put it on your OnlyFans there, Cecil.
That's right. That's right. Instead of foot pictures, you can put 80s redneck pictures.
Mullet photos. I bet you that would be popular.
Yeah.
Hey, my daughter, their next door neighbor's 14-year-old has a mullet, because I'm looking when I drop the boys off one morning. I'm like, does he have a mullet? And my grandson's like, well, yes, ma'am. I'm like, seriously, these people let their little boy have a mullet? Well, he's 14. I'm like, that's even worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Well, at least he wasn't chewing tobacco.
Not that I could see. He was a good ways away. And they did go on to inform me that he was in alternative school and all this other stuff. So he might have had some tobacco somewhere over there.
Yeah, which
the downside to living in the country. So.
See, the reason I asked that question is because this is a picture of my dad in the 80s.
That's about it, Cecil. He was about half that size, but yes, that's perfect. Oh my God, I love it. Take me back. All right, so we're going to talk about Halloween movies tonight, guys. So, all right, Cecil, your favorite scary movie?
Sling Blade.
I've actually seen that.
I don't really have a favorite scary movie. I have a bunch of movies that I love.
Okay, well then go with that. What's one of your favorites? One of your, just one that you love.
Are we talking just horror movies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah. I really like As Above, So Below, surprisingly. Have you watched it?
No, I have not.
I think I did years ago. Was that the one about the haunted house at the bottom of the river?
No, it's the one where the lady goes to Iraq at the beginning and finds an ancient artifact. And when she comes back, she goes to France to explore the catacombs. And they start descending further and further into the catacombs. And it's essentially they're descending into hell. And they have to just keep going down, 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 down to get back up. You know, it's terrifying. Like, throughout it, they find somebody that like an ancient body that was Knights Templar in it, and it wakes up. There's a scene where one of their friends that used to go in the catacombs with them had disappeared before, and they actually find him, and he drags one of them into a car that's down there, and it burns them to death and stuff. It's crazy. It's a good movie.
Cool.
But
As Above, So Below.
All right, I'll have to check that out. It sounds good.
Good one. I like it. It's like a found footage thing, you know.
Oh,
yeah, that's one of those, but it's one of the better ones like that. So, but my favorite series of all time is, of course, Nightmare. That's just what I always like. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I think that was just for me. You know, that was back, I guess, when I was a teenager when all that started coming out, and it was really when they started getting some of the better special effects and stuff. You know. Yeah. We were talking about the original, and I may lose you, Cecil, and I'm sorry. The original Dark Shadows.
yes.
Yeah. My grandmother watched it because it was a rerun when I was a kid, and my grandmother used to watch it every afternoon. And I was explaining to my son recently, I'm like, it was a gothic, horror series. I said, they were showing stuff on TV that they really hadn't shown, prior to that, witches and vampires and that kind of stuff. I said, and then, you know, in the 80s, they did the revival, and, you know, it was still had that gothic feel to it. I said, and then they came out with the Dark Shadows movie, and it was just the dumbest damn thing I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
You know, hated
Dark
it.
Shadows was awesome. I loved the Dark Shadows soap opera is what I called it.
Yeah, it was.
But when Johnny Depp came out with that Johnny Depp trash pile, it was like, man, that ruined that forever for me. I can never watch it again.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Mike Lewis, the original The Exorcist is one of only like 2 movies that terrified me, because my aunt decided to take us to the drive-in, and we were 8 years old when it came out. That was not an appropriate movie for a carload of 8-year-olds, you know. So
have you watched one?
No,
I haven't either.
No, I haven't either. I've heard nothing but bad reviews about it. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And The Omen, Mike, I loved the original Omen.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then they ruined it with Omen 3.
I literally just now like part 3.
Sam, supposed to put the 7 knives in it, the demon's chest in the shape of a cross. The atheist comes up, stabs the demon in the back, he dies, and then Jesus appears. It's like, it's not really a religious movie. Right.
Well, you know, here recently, or last year, I think Tully and I've talked about it. They had a movie on HBO Latin called 30 Coins. And it was that. I freaking love this series. And the thing is, I normally do not do subtitles. If I have to watch more than one episode in subtitles, I'm not watching it. I faithfully watch this thing 1 week at a time because I caught the first episode on the first release night. So I had to wait for it. And they just came out with, or they're getting ready to start season 2. Yeah. And it was really surprisingly a very good series.
Yeah, and Paul Giamatti's in the second season.
Yes, that is correct.
Really?
I'm going to have to watch the first season to get caught up so I can watch the second.
You know, and the thing is, I don't know if they're going to do the next season in subtitles or not, with them having English speakers. You know, I don't know if they're going to go back and forth. You know, I don't know. But I'm definitely looking forward to it because, like I said, if they do as good of a job as they did in the first season, it's going to be really good. So, definitely.
Now, Mike also listed as movies he likes Blackula, which was really good. Phantasm.
I love it.
Night of the Demons, which was good. Vampires, which is one of my if you're talking the one with John Carpenter's, that was one of my favorite vampire movies. And Dracula 2000.
Yep.
And did you hear they're remaking Blackula?
Are they really?
They're doing an updated version of it. I hope it's as good. I don't remember the actor who played Blackula, but he did a fantastic job. That was a great movie.
Do you know that
they can remake it? That's one of the ones they shouldn't remake. Like that's kind of like remaking Airplane or something. You know?
They remake everything. I've heard rumors they want to remake Jaws.
Oh wow! Yeah. They didn't they? The Meg, isn't it the same concept?
Speaking of that, I haven't seen part 2 of I haven't seen the Meg 2 yet.
It's funny.
Is it?
I like Phantasm.
It's like Jurassic World with humor. I mean, whereas Meg, you could sort of say, "Oh, this is like an action film." Yeah. This one is just so bizarre and over the top. It's a riot. I loved it.
Cool. Yeah, I have not watched either one of them, so I've got them both bookmarked to watch.
Yeah. Well, I've watched the first one, and that was an interesting take in how the Megalodon, came up from the depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, this time the Megalodon is joined by 2 others.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Stephen? You got a spooky partial too?
My favorite scary movie has to be Jeepers Creepers 2.
Okay.
Jeepers Creepers 2? The one where they're on the bus? It is all right. Yeah.
Yeah, the one to me, the one best. Yeah, my favorite part of the whole movie is at the end of the movie whenever they got the thing nailed to the wall and the old man is sitting there with his gun. He said, "It could come back today, could be tomorrow, or whatever." He didn't care. He was going to be sitting there waiting on it.
What I loved about the movie is when it was at the back of the bus looking through the window and it was pointing. Yeah.
Yes.
You die. You live. You die.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That to me, I know it was a little bit cheesy, but I like that one. I've never watched a whole lot of scary movies, you know, just that's one of them that I actually do like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, the Legend of Boggy Creek, I know for a lot of people, it scared a lot of people the first time they saw it, you know.
Right.
Back in the 70s.
I have not seen that since it first came out.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you know, I'm not a huge like horror fan. If it's got a really good story to it, then absolutely. I'm more of a psychological thriller. You know that.
Oh yeah, like 7 or something like that.
Yeah. Like I said, that's it. But I will tell you, like I said, The Exorcist terrified me. The other one that scared me, and Hadley laughs at me every time I say this, but there is a reason. The Evil Dead, the original, scared the crap. Well, it's more of it creeped me the hell out, and it's the tree rape scene. You know, I'm like, oh my God, that terrified me. You know, I'm like, oh my God. But hands down, one that I can still watch today. I own it. I get in the mood and watch it. I love The Nightbreed.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's Clive Barker. And I read the book back, you know, when I was a teenager, and then the movie came out, and it's been around since the 90s, and I've liked it always. It's one that my son actually made the comment that he would like to see them redo, only to see where they went with the special effects, because the special effects were really good for when it came out.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, could you imagine what they could do with CGI and everything today? I'm like, yeah.
Practical effects are even better now, though. Like they can still use practical effects, and it'd be awesome.
Exactly. And you know, I'm hit or miss on remakes. You know, I'm the same way with covers. You know, I really don't care for them, but there are exceptions, and I'm the same way with remakes. But I kind of agree with him. I'd like to see what they would do with it now.
Going back to Jeepers Creepers for a second, isn't it weird that Justin Long started his career with a horror movie, and it looks like he's going to end his career on horror movies?
Who's that?
Justin Long.
His last horror movie.
He was in Barbarian, and he's in Goosebumps, the new Goosebumps.
Oh,
yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go.
For me, I'm probably more the psychological thrillers like Seven and Hannibal, stuff like that. You know, that's
I like that. To me, it's that realism to it. You know, it's like this could happen. You know, it could happen right now. And I think that's the part that makes it, you know, more knee jerk for me, you know, or that jump and everything. Because to me, a horror movie, like I said, if it's got a good story, I can sit there and watch it. But if it's just about blood and slashing, and I'm not going to sit there and watch that, you know.
Right.
So, but
that's just I'm one. I can sit and watch Criminal Minds for a long time.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big, you know, Law and Order fan. You know, I mean, just the CS, you know, the CSIs, you know, that kind of stuff too. But
my wife absolutely cannot stand the opening music on Law and Order. She wants me to change the channel.
Okay, a little off subject, but not really. Have you watched the series with Alan Tudyk called Resident Alien?
Oh my God, that's funny. I love that.
Fantastic. It's sci-fi. Alan Tudyk plays an alien, and the way he learns to speak English and his mannerisms is by watching reruns of Law and Order. And he goes in as the town coroner. And he walks in, and they're like, "You're the doctor. You've got to look at him. We think he's been murdered." And he goes down. He goes, "Dun dun," and just his face is like. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a really good series.
Oh yeah, Tudyk trying to be an alien acting like a human is an absolute riot.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
sure is. He nails it. But so okay.
Justin Long was in Tusk, but I don't consider Tusk a horror movie because it's written by Kevin Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I guess Kevin Smith's always going to be my dogma person.
Yeah.
Now, have you watched Red State? But it's not a horror movie either. But Kevin Smith wrote Red State too. Have you watched that? The movie
No, I haven't.
That's a good movie. It's about a cult, a religious cult. It's kind of like the Davidians, but a little different. John Goodman's in it and stuff. It's good. You need to watch it.
All right. No, let me write that one down.
Red State.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Dumbest Halloween movie. Just the stupidest, or you know, horror.
Do I get to say my scariest movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
My bad.
I don't scare with movies.
Right.
No movie has ever scared me since I was like 6 years old and watched the first King Kong.
Mhm.
But the movie that creeped me out, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was, there was very little blood, but it was just this slow building tension and horror. And it was just like a pot of boiling water. You put it on, you turn it on, and you just watch the whole thing until it eventually overflows.
Yeah.
It was really good. And the scene when I can't think of the actor's name, but he puts the bells as a joke around the people's feet. And then you hear the bell walking down the corridor slowly.
Yeah.
Then I want to recommend Ripper Slasher, the
Ripper
series,
Slasher.
if you haven't seen that one, because it takes place late 1800s. They're looking for Jack the Ripper in Canada. You know, it's after he's disappeared from England, and they think he's come to Canada, and it's that slow build. And now it's got gore and everything too, but I mean, the story's really good. Very good. I think.
Let me also just quickly mention one other movie. It's not the whole movie.
Mhm.
Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it.
I'm not that one.
Horribly made movie. It was made by the same guy. I can't think of his name, who did Porky's and A Christmas Story.
I can't remember his name, but
Yeah, it's horribly made. I mean, it was one of his first. You could tell it was done with all of his friends. But when the zombies come to life in the cemetery and they're crawling up through, they're like ripping open the graves and crawling out, and the way they're moving and the background sound, that scene creeps the hell out of me more than any other zombie movie had. That 5 minutes is good. The rest of the movie is too.
sometimes you have those. Like I said, you were. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, you're saying sometimes you have those. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No.
What about Zombieland?
I like
I
Zombieland.
love that.
It was funny. It was more of a comedy, wasn't it?
Mhm.
I tell you the one that kind of made me. I don't know. It's I Am Legend. That was one of those.
Oh yes.
What's the original one called with Vincent Price?
The original one of that was Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The horrific Old Man with Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm.
I think my internet's going out, so I'm keying up StreamYard on my phone to get ready.
Okay.
Hey, I've had 2 days of internet issues. So.
Really?
At work, yes.
Yeah, we had that last week, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was last weekend. I don't know what it was in Texarkana while we were at the hospital. It's just drop calls and everything else, and that's the largest city around here. You know.
Yeah.
I'm glad Mike went off because that's probably what I was going to pick, Mike. Honestly.
Yep. All right, Scott. Dumbest, most ridiculous.
Because I do watching Wyrd, I have seen movies that are horrible.
Yes, you have.
I mean, but I'm going to take a movie that should have been good, and like like the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street sucked.
Yeah.
The remake of Psycho with Vince Vaughn.
I liked it.
Really? I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Vince Vaughn's a great actor, but it's the exact same movie. Nothing changed. There was no little plot twist like, ooh, that's different. It was just like watching a colorized version of the original one, yet you knew what was going to happen at the end.
I love that. Yeah, I love that part about it. I was like, I'm glad they didn't change it.
Really?
Yeah. I love that. Troll? What about Troll 2? Lando said Troll 2 was so horrible that the guys that started it didn't even remember being in it.
Poultrygeist was a classic movie, Landa. And come on, Poultrygeist was not as bad as Thanksgiving.
No, it was not.
And that other one, I think we did a Toilet of the Dead.
Oh, God.
Is that like Redneck Zombies?
Yeah.
Look, Thanksgiving 3, I got through the first, like the intro and went, hell no. They didn't even make a 2.
Did you hear that Eli Roth is coming out in a month or so with Thanksgiving? It's the whole thing is this serial killer goes loose in a town with a bad past history, and he kills people dressed up, I think, as a pilgrim with Thanksgiving cooking instruments.
Oh, God.
That'd be funny. I like to watch it. Eli Roth makes good movies.
Yeah, I would watch it just for Eli Roth.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Next. Worst. Cecil?
I mean, there's a bunch. But I'm gonna have to go with the remake of Nightmare because that's the one I can think of because Mike said it. I love that guy. I forget his name. It's something Early. What's his name? Early. I don't know. He was in Watchmen. He played Rorschach in Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
To replace Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger was a bad mistake anyway. And the kind of reason that Nightmare on Elm Street originally worked was because you never truly knew if he was like molesting the kids and stuff. Not really. And they kind of confirmed it later.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, they just come straight out and say that's what he's doing. So it takes away and kind of like, well, maybe he was innocent and he's wreaking this revenge, But yeah, I don't like that one. There's a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie Earl Haley, yeah. He's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's some roles just aren't replaceable.
Yeah.
And that Robert Englund was one that.
If they remake Freddy Krueger when Robert Englund was 100 years old on Nightmare on Elm Street, they still could cast Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
Right. Right.
It would be makeup then.
The only thing I liked about the remake was about halfway through when they start to hint that he wasn't the child molester and he was burned by mistake, which I thought would have been brilliant, because now he's not the bad guy. He's like an anti-hero, but then they went back and proved that he was the child molester.
Yeah. I always liked that about the original because it was kind of like you didn't know for sure, but you always kind of figured,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm one that even if I watch crappy horror movies, I still kind of like them. So I don't know why. I'm just like Wolf of Snow Mountain. Totally, absolutely hated that movie. And I was like, I really like that movie.
See, I'm that way with the movies that the critics just absolutely hate. Like the Lone Ranger. I loved The Lone Ranger.
You're talking about the new one, right?
Yes.
Movie. Oh yeah.
Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Yeah. To me, that was
Never
Johnny
saw that
Depp's
one.
best movie he ever made.
Yeah, I love that movie, but critics hated it, so I've decided that the worse critics like it, the better I'm usually going to like it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
everything.
usually
So,
the case.
yeah.
Yeah.
To me, one of the worst movies ever made was Halloween 3. The one with the masks, because one, it had nothing to do with the story at all. And I know his original plan was each one was going to be like a standalone show, but it was just so far out in left field. I mean, and that's when I went to the theater to see because, you know, I'd seen the first two, and that to me is a very, very good set of movies was Halloween 1 and 2. So, you know, I was really looking forward to 3, and it's just like, what the hell did they do?
Oh, can I take mine back?
Yeah.
I want to say Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie.
Oh my God. Anything by Rob Zombie.
I never even saw that one.
I hate that one so much just because there was no point in his wife being in that movie. She died in the first one.
Uh-huh.
And there's constant flashbacks of her riding a friggin' white unicorn or horse constantly. I'm like, what in the hell? Like, why is that even?
I don't guess I've seen that one, but I know I hated his remake of The Monsters. I could not stand it.
Yeah.
Well, Herman Monster, you know, you can't replace that guy either.
Yeah, Fred Gwynn.
Yeah. Only if you watched him in Car 54, Where Are You? Do y'all remember that one?
Yes. He was in that with Lou.
Yes.
Wasn't he? Yeah.
Sure was.
Now, I liked the first part of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. Only for the fact it gave Michael's backstory.
Yeah.
You know, and I like the fact that he turned Loomis from being a caring doctor to being a narcissistic asshole who just wanted to make money off of this.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, the minute he escapes from the insane asylum, I shut it off.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really beat House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, but he ended up destroying that franchise too with The Devil Makes 3 or whatever, or 3 from Hell or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Devil's Rejects is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it last week, actually.
Yeah, and I probably didn't watch it because it was him. You know,
yeah.
So,
but what about the movie It?
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Tim
Curry or what's his face?
I like them both.
The newest one.
I have not watched the new ones.
No.
I just haven't gotten around to it. I mean, I will.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah,
I
both.
like the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hated the kid actors in the first TV version were great.
Yeah.
I hated the adults. It was all a bunch of washed up comedians.
Well,
you know, trying to pull off this serious horror. I couldn't stand any of them.
Yeah,
you know?
John.
And I did like the fact that he did the movie in two parts, the kids and then the adults.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I love Tim Curry as Pennywise, Skarsgård did, I think, a better job.
Yeah, he did. The deal he does with his eye, I think that's natural too.
Yeah, he does that with it. Have you ever watched him just make the face without just make it on command without the makeup on? It's just as creepy.
Really?
Like he does the smile and makes his eye moves and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, I watched that one with my daughter. My daughters, they would have been far better on the show than that than me because they like to watch the horror movies.
Well, you know, I'm of the mind. This is just my personal opinion. Stephen King books terrify me.
Yes.
I mean, by the and people, a lot of people don't realize that his books don't have happy endings.
No.
Period. They don't, and his movies generally do. So it's like, that is part of, to me, you cannot get enough detail into a 2-hour movie to cover his novels. His short stories make much better movies because it's a small amount of information. And the exception to that is, and I had never heard of it. I just happened to see it in the movie store one day. And I'm like, I've never heard of this Stephen King book. So I got it. I took it home and I absolutely fell in love. It was a 4.5-hour movie. I sat there and watched the entire thing in one sitting, and it was Storm of the Century.
Oh.
It went straight to it was a made for TV movie, but it ended like a Stephen King book. And I finally found it. It was never an actual book. He wrote the screenplay specifically for that show. And that's why it ends like a Stephen King book. And like I said, that's another one that's one of my go-to movies when I'm just looking for something nostalgic to watch. So
Doesn't he sleep with the light on? I heard that.
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. I would be really interested to talk to his wife and son to see just what kind of person he was, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how true this is, but I read somewhere that he will sell like movie rights to you for like $1,
Mm-hmm.
like to make a movie out of one of his books.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
now like certain books and stuff.
Well, I mean, he's worth like $400 million. I mean, so, you know,
Like
he could.
people do it to build their like
Mhm.
movie creation. Like,
Right.
oh, I think you
Yeah.
might have to do film school or some shit like that.
Mhm.
Might not even be true. I read it on the internet, but everything on there.
Yeah, everything on the internet's true.
That's
Mike
pretty cool.
Mike mentioned he met Tim Curry.
Oh,
Mike,
cool.
is Tim Curry a really decent guy? He seems like he'd be a great person to meet.
Well, I think he's dead now, but
Don't think he is.
I don't think he is. I know he's not doing real well.
Oh yeah, he's like practically paralyzed, I think, with whatever disease he has. But he did go out. He did go to one convention for a while to sign autographs a couple of months ago.
really,
Yeah.
I thought he was dead.
Okay, not Halloween necessarily, but what's your favorite Tim Curry movie?
Mm.
Home Alone,
cool.
Lost in New York.
Home Alone, Lost in New York. It's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
You know, it's funny. I loved him in The Three Musketeers as Cardinal Richelieu.
Yeah, he was good in that.
That was one of my favorite roles of his. But Tim Curry can be in anything, and I would watch it. He's such a versatile actor.
Yes.
Yeah,
What about you, Cecil?
I mean, Rocky Horror, of course. I can't get past Rocky Horror. It's the only musical I like.
Mhm.
Really?
Mine is
Like Frozen?
Oscar.
What? What's wrong with you? Frozen and Frozen 2? Come on, man.
I can get into it.
Don't even say Frozen 2. My niece listened to that endlessly. I come over to visit, and it's like it's stuck in my head. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Congo. That movie got to me for some reason, Landa. I don't know why, but I had to get away from the movie theater after we went and watched Congo.
Yeah.
It was one of those that just was disturbing to me.
No, I absolutely love the movie Oscar with him in it.
Oh,
yeah.
He plays the linguist, and just listening to him trying to get Stallone to speak without an accent is hilarious. I love that movie.
Good.
Yeah.
He
really
is alive. I could have swore he was dead. Like, honestly, I thought he was dead for the last few years. But he's alive.
No,
I saw him recently in something, in a photograph or something, and he was in a wheelchair. So I thought relatively.
Well, he's 77.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked him up a while ago to make sure I was thinking of the same person that y'all were talking about. So.
Flu was another good one, Landa.
Yeah, Clue was good. All right, so family-friendly Halloween movie.
Terrified.
Which one did you say?
Terrified.
Terrifier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
the Manson family. Did you hear at that point? They're making a Terrifier 3 with a Christmas theme.
Yeah, I can't wait.
God.
I love Art the Clown. I literally love Art the Clown. My wife loves him too. We probably watched Terrifier 1 and 2 8 times this month already.
The actor who plays him is so good. You know, the way he's like doing the clown, then the next thing he's cutting a woman in half with a chainsaw.
Yeah, smiling. And he's completely silent. That's my favorite thing about him. Like, he's a black and white movie character come to life, and he's terrifying. Like, he's just brutal in all aspects. It's a snuff film, but it's hilarious and scary.
Yep, I'll let you. I'll trust you with that because I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Well, just watch All Hallows Eve, the first All Hallows Eve. That's where he made his appearance. It's not the same actor though.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, they give you a good idea of it though.
Cool. All right. So yes, family friendly.
Mike
Steven?
said Gremlins.
Now, is Gremlins a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie?
Both.
Christmas.
Yep, I agree.
I think it falls in the realm of like Nightmare Before Christmas. You can watch it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, which of course, I mean, you know, I'd watch nothing. I'm that way with any Halloween like family movie. Like I said, Hocus Pocus, when I watch that, that's the beginning of my Halloween, you know, season. But I watch it year round.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
you want to know my favorite family friendly horror movie is actually Paranorman.
Oh,
that's good.
I love that movie. I absolutely love that movie. You ever watched it?
Yes,
I have.
It's great. I'm gonna watch it tonight. Actually, I'll pull it off the wall.
Yeah, that Monster House.
Yeah, Monster House is a good one.
Yeah,
those kid cartoon movies are the best ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really are. We were talking today about Coraline. I mean, I absolutely love that movie. To me, it's really not kid friendly. You know, it's kind of spooky for a child, but I love it. Watch it all the time. Oh my God.
That's not Fred.
No.
As far as that goes, Coco's a good one. A good Halloween movie.
Yeah, it is.
I like Coco.
It definitely is.
I mean, family friendly Halloween movies, Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you got a weird family, I love Trick or Treat. It is my favorite Halloween movie.
Which one is it? The one with Anna Pascal?
The one with Sam Hain.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if that's really kid friendly, but yeah, I love that.
Weird like mine.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah. I've got weird people too. So
my wife loves Sam Hain, by the way. She's got a little Sam Funko Pop that she's got sitting on her little side.
Now another Londa mentioned 9, the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite family-friendly movie has got to be WALL-E.
Wally's good.
Wally's good. Yeah.
Chappie's good too, but that one's not family friendly.
No, good one.
But I like Casper. I think that's a good family movie too. And I like The Corpse Bride.
Yeah. Have you heard the recent theory about that?
I don't guess.
All right. This is awesome because it says that Tim Burton had made these 3 movies to be in unison.
Mm-hmm.
So Frankenweenie, then The Corpse Bride, and Nightmare Before Christmas is all about the same character, Victor.
Really?
Because if you think about Frankenweenie, in the beginning, he reanimates his dog, right? And his name's Victor. Then in Corpse Bride, his name's Victor. They got the little skeleton dog running around. That's the exact same breed. And then in Nightmare on Elm Street, Victor has died. And became Jack Skeleton, and his dog's not a ghost.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Land of Beetlejuice is probably in my top 10 favorite movies.
Beetlejuice.
You know, they're redoing that one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're making part 2.
Right. And I'm okay with that. You know, instead of them trying to remake the original, because again, you just can't. So I'm glad they're not trying.
They've typecasted that little girl, Jenna Ortega, now, though, after Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes,
she
they
was
have.
Fantastic as Wednesday.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, and the guy who played Fester, I can't think of his name right now.
Christopher Lloyd. Oh wait, in the new one. Dang, what's his name? He's a comedian.
Yeah, hang on, I'm looking it up. I could not stand Morticia and
Gomez. No. Well, that's it was so funny. I forget who I was talking to. I am a huge fan of Addams Family and Addams Family Values.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, some of my favorite movies, again, ones I watch all year long. 3 was the up in there with the dumbest
I've
because
never
they
watched
cast
part two.
they
I never
cast
knew there was a 3.
I didn't either.
Daryl, and I'm going to say this, and it kills my heart to do it. Well, first, Daryl Hannah is not Morticia in any way, form, or fashion, but they cast Tim Curry as Gomez.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I didn't
And
know.
I love Tim Curry, but I was a Raul Julia. You
Yeah.
know, he was just perfect.
Yeah, he was really good in that role.
And but I was talking to somebody, it's been within the last 6 months, and something came up about Wednesday and everything. I said, I love the show. They did a really good job with the series. I don't like Gomez, I don't like Morticia, and I like Gootsman. I think he's a fantastic actor.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't like him as Gomez. And he goes, what? Problem with a Mexican?
Well,
And I'm like, well, you know, Gomez is a Hispanic name, right? You know? Like,
he's
so-
pretty close to the original drawings too. Like
he
the
really is.
yeah.
He absolutely is.
Now, my favorite Morticia and Gomez is the original,
Mhm.
Aston and Jones.
Yeah.
And they just had that chemistry together.
Mhm.
I love them. But
Yes.
I liked the Addams Family movies because Christina Ricci rocked it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes, she
Christopher
did.
Lloyd did a great Festa, but Christina Ricci made those movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Those were good. And I like the original series too. I mean, you know, but like I said, it just, I will always be. Angelica Houston and Raul Julia were perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when they say, you know, people talk about wanting to be Romeo and Juliet, I'd rather be Gomez and
Yeah.
Morticia. You know, that's who I think of and everything. So, and, you know, and that was actually going to be my next thing was comedy, you know, and that would be my favorite comedies as far as, you know, Halloween type movies would be the Addams Family movies. The first two. The third one.
Or Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin.
That's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yep.
class.
Always.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to
Always.
mine would be comedy.
Comedy. Let's see. Horror movie comedies.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. No, that's not really
Yeah,
a horror movie.
I would have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Hocus Pocus and the Addams Family movies. The comedies I like are more science fiction.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
the Men in Black.
Right. I got you. I mean,
There's some comedic parts in Pet Cemetery, the original.
Yeah.
Just the way they got it played. Herman Monster talks in that. When I was a little kid, I was terrified of that movie. But when I got older, I hadn't watched it in years because I was so scared of it. But then it came to the part after Gage's funeral where she's holding that picture and he just says, "Well, look at that. You push him around in a wagon." I bet you like that, didn't he? And for some reason, I could not stop laughing like forever when he said that.
Yeah.
You know, Pet Cemetery is another one of those. The books terrified me, but the movie was just.
What'd you all think of the remake? I
I haven't
liked
seen it yet.
I haven't.
it.
Yeah, I didn't watch
The
it.
remake or the one that just came out, the prequel.
The remake, the Bloodline. I like Bloodline too, but the
I
remake.
never saw the remake. I'm gonna admit it here. I've never seen the whole thing of the original movie.
Mhm.
I've seen like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was. I think the reason it scared me so much when I was little was because of Pascal. He's like the first like crazy looking ghost I seen in a movie when I was a little kid.
Hmm.
Okay.
It freaked me out.
Yeah. One of my favorites though has to be the Goonies.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the brother with a messed up head. It's
Sloth.
when him and Chunk are screaming at each other.
Yep. Yep. That's it. That's a good one. That's a good one. How about series that would fall under spooky, scary?
From
Oh God. There you Scott, if you haven't seen that one,
Which is it?
From.
FROMM?
Just
Mm.
FROM.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
I love that. It's so freaking crazy. It's insane.
Yes. And there's really nothing to compare it to that I've been able to think of. Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan.
I'm on.
Yeah.
I'll give you the setup, Scott, just because it won't ruin anything. It's created by the people that created Lost.
Okay.
But what it is these people are in this. It's not even a town. Like, I don't know. They're in this area, and like everybody ends up in this area after they run across a tree laid across the road. But the first scene you see is them like boarding up windows and like don't open the windows or anything. And then this little girl sees an old woman outside that's like, "Let me in." And she opens the window, and then the woman turns into a monster. And the next thing you see is the little girl is like shredded, like splayed up, and it's crazy.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's definitely watch. It's been what, 2 seasons, Cecil?
2 seasons so far, yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those that, because I didn't catch it the first time I watched it, it had all been streamed, so I could sit and watch it all back to back. Well, then the second one, I caught the first episode of the next season. Then I had to wait a week and wait a week and wait a week.
It killed me. I wish it's one of the ones I wish I wouldn't have known about till the series was over.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and Tully's got me rewatching The Lost, The Lone Gunman. Also, yeah,
I've got it queued up in there. I was going to watch it on my vacation.
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes last night, but I like The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh.
It's I did not like Sabrina the Teenage Witch from the 90s or any of that, but I really did like The Chilling Adventures.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Just recently they had one, and it's really not scary at all, but it's called Harlan Coben's Shelter. And I used to read Harlan Coben back when I was younger because he did murder mysteries, and I read a lot of that type of book. And I just happened to be scrolling through Prime a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, when did he start doing that type movie? So I watched that one. It was a pretty decent show, but like I said, it's not scary at all. It's more of a mystery type.
Mysteries can be scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Steven, you got a series you love?
What was the name of the series where the plane disappeared for?
Manifest.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in a few years now, but that was one I got started with, and I had to stay tuned every week for a while.
Yep. I just got through watching the last of it. Because there was a pretty good little gap between one season and then when they finished it out and everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was one of those that I got into. I saw the previews and thought, that's going to be interesting. So,
Landa, I have not watched Yellow Jackets, but I heard it was really good.
Yellow Jackets, it's legit. It's good.
Okay, all right.
What is that one about?
So it's like these girls in the 90s were part of I think it was a basketball or baseball team, but their plane had crashed in the wilderness, so they had to spend like a year and a half in the wilderness by themselves.
Really?
And now it's following them as they're adults, and like there's some kind of mystery that happened while they were in the woods, and somebody's blackmailing them and stuff. It's got Juliette Lewis in it. Gosh, I can't remember the other people's name, but it's pretty good. It's legit. If you got time, you should watch it.
Cool.
Juliette
Lewis.
Yeah, awesome. Scott, series?
New one that's I think on Netflix, Fall of the House of Usher.
I've got that one queued up. I heard it was good too.
It is fantastic.
Okay.
And a lot of the Edgar Allan Poe stories are weaved into it.
Oh wow.
It's just fantastic. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat. I don't usually binge watch. I binge watched this in 2 nights.
Oh, wow.
It was so good. Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix.
Yeah. Both of the girls I work with have told me, you're going to love this. You've got to watch it. I'm like, well, I've got it queued up. I just haven't sat down and watched it yet. So awesome. See, now I have a whole new list of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. Any honorable mentions or anything that we didn't think about that?
I don't know.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
You know, I do remember watching the old Vincent Price movies when I was a teenager and loving those. And one I just thought about, Fright Night, the original.
Yes.
I love that movie.
That was a good one.
What I felt the most bad about when they remade it is they had to change Peter Vincent to a magician because nobody today knows what a horror movie host is. Fright Night is a classic movie.
Yes.
Though I'm going to go out, I'm going to give a shout out to my favorite all-time movie, The Thing by John Carpenter.
The Thing.
The Thing. Oh yeah, I haven't watched John Carpenter's, but I watched the original. So that was.
Oh, I love that, but those are two separate movies.
Yeah,
those are two separate. John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's all practical effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. Is
I
it true?
think the one I'm thinking of was actually The Thing from Another Planet or something. It's for the time period that it was made. It was pretty good.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true that if you spoke that native language that they were in the country they were in, you would knew it right at the beginning? Because apparently they said when they seen the dogs, the natives were saying that those aren't dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, the Norwegian guy was screaming, that's not a dog, get away from it. And they had no clue.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course, the Predator movies, that was the most recent Predator movie. I know some people didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty cool because it took it back, to like the pre-industrial revolution of America.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to come out with another Prey movie about the Predator, but it's set in World War II.
Really?
Yeah, I bet that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a big fan of remakes. I enjoyed the remake of Predator.
I did
the
too.
Concept of taking all of these trained killers and throwing them on the Predator's home planet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a great idea.
And that season, I liked it when it came to find out that the seasons were only one day, and that guy been there 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, that'd be my luck. Or it's by no means Halloween, but one of my all-time favorite movies is Groundhog Day. But it would be the sorriest day in my life that I would have to relive over and over.
Groundhog Day. I love that one.
Yes. And I heard that somebody, I'm sorry, Scott.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I heard somebody proposed saying there's going to be a Groundhog Day 2, and then just doing Groundhog Day again.
Oh, that'd be great. But I read an article. It's been years ago, but they were talking about all the things that he learned while he was repeating this day. And they were trying to figure out how long he was there. And they said it would take 10 full years to learn to do all of the things that he had done. So not, 10 years of 365 years or 365 days.
I thought it was like 38 years.
And it may have changed. This, like I said, this has been a while ago that I was reading that.
Yeah.
So
because he mastered piano and learned languages and all
and cutting ice sculpting and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
Catching the kid when he fell. Not one time have you said thank you.
Right?
Wherever they filmed that at, there's actually the step where he steps into the water. They've got a little plaque that says Bill Murray stepped here.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, this has been fun. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. Scott, thanks for letting us step off into your forte. And thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to have you.
Yep. So, all right, guys, look, y'all be safe out there on Halloween and have a good time. And until next time, stay weird.
What's that?